Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into your Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I cannot believe we are 17 days right now into March. It feels like this year has flown by. I'm your in-studio host, Maddie Evans, and we've got a great show in store for you. Now, I would like to give everyone a very special Happy St. Patrick's Day. I am not wearing any green today, so I'm really hoping that there are no little pinching people around. We're going to take a look at that local weather forecast, and we've got a great show in store for you, but let's take a look at that weather right now.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to the show. If you're looking for something great to do this weekend, well, Park City Film has always got you covered, and we're here with Katy Wang to talk about their upcoming events that they have all weekend long, because you guys do such a good job of bringing in so many incredible movies. Good morning, Katy.
It's always great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I love when you come, because I love getting the opportunity to talk to you not only about films, but about all these different aspects of life that you guys personally bring forward for people to connect to, which I think is the best way to build a community.
Absolutely. And so, as you know, we just finished up the Academy Awards on Sunday night. And I have to say, I'm personally thrilled that Everything Everywhere All at Once, which we showed last spring when it came out, won 7 awards. So that was pretty awesome, and I think well-deserved. So the talking point, I'm sure, for many people, everyone has their favorites. But as we were looking at programming, this weekend's selection, we programmed, about 6 weeks out. We were looking at all the Academy Award nominees, and The Fabelmans, of course, came up, Steven Spielberg's new film, because it won both the Golden Globe for Best Director, but also Best Picture, was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. So it's kind of like this little gamble of like, okay, who's going to win? What's going to happen? But, arguably, these are some of the best films of the year. So even if they don't win everything, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, they are still fantastic films to bring to our community, and we're thrilled to have them. So this weekend, of course, with The Fabelmans, and this is Steven Spielberg's coming-of-age story that's based in part on his own life and growing up with a fantastically creative and just driven family, and just kind of how he found his own voice with filmmaking. And, as a film lover, right, you've got to love that piece that it's about the power of film and imagination to help us kind of see who we are more intensely and how we relate to each other. Kind of what is that inner truth, what drives us, and what are the stories that we tell and how they're told, right, is so powerful. So really fantastic to be able to kind of see a little bit behind the curtain of what drives Steven Spielberg to the illustrious career that he has had so far and continues to have, but also in a way that I think we can all relate to.
Which, that's the coolest part. And I just watched the trailer for the film, and you can instantly see that no matter who you are, what you're doing, where your life has taken you, you're going to be able to connect to this film, because as we were talking off camera, so many people, as their children grow up, right, they push that thing that they want them to do. And so, like, for me, skiing was the thing that, like, my family really loved and really wanted us to commit to. And now, because it was so pushed on me, skiing is like one of those things that I love, but it's not my end-all be-all for each and every day.
Right. And we've all got that inner passion, and it's just really finding what it is that drives you, right? What's that thing that's going to get you up in the morning? Is it skiing? Is it filmmaking? Is it singing? We've all got that hidden talent down there somewhere. And, the hope, I think, for everyone is that you're able to tap into that and make a life out of it. And certainly Steven Spielberg has done a fantastic job, I would dare say, of making filmmaking into a career, but just bringing some of those stories. I mean, if you think about E.T. and Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I mean, he's done so many films that have really captured the hearts and minds of not just the American public, but people around the globe just know his films and resonate with them. Like those stories are so universal that what an incredible gift it is that he was able to tap into that genius, and that his family, as you see in the trailer, just in parts, and certainly when you watch the film, gave him that space to say, this is who you are. Like, don't apologize for that. Do it, pursue it, see where it takes you. And it's pretty amazing to see where it did.
I love getting to see these opportunities, and I love that you guys do such a good job of really touching into every part of the community. Now we did Animal Lovers, then you did, of course, the Academy Awards, and now you're doing this one to maybe especially for those young kids that are around town that are looking for something fun to do this weekend. This is a great coming of age movies, and when you are coming of age yourself, these are one of the best movies that you can watch because they're so inspirational.
Absolutely. And that you realize that your struggle is not, you are not alone in your struggle, I should say. That all of us, we're teenagers and trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do with my life? And that is a universal quandary. But I think when you're in the moment, certainly I have teenage children, they feel like this is my burden alone to deal with. And like, no, absolutely not. So yes, for young people to see it, for families to see it, certainly, people as old as I am, I love it because I was once a teenager too. But just anything that shows that passion and that drive is so compelling and just, fascinating to bring you together in great conversations afterwards, for sure.
Which I always say this every time I interview you, it's so amazing to see your passion for the films. So to see a coming of age movie, watching one of the many greats that we have come of age, direct his films, and really kind of subliminally tell his life story, I think is so cool to hear you talk about it, just because all of the passion all around is so breathtaking.
Oh, well, thank you. And it's just really fun to see people resonate with the films, because that's, of course, the best part for me, is not only getting to see these stories, but to feel the reaction in the theater, right? I mean, that is what's so unique about the theatrical experience. Like, sure, you can watch movies at home, but to see it with all these people, right? With 200 people around you, and to hear their reaction. I mean, that is just such a visceral feeling that you cannot replicate anywhere else. So it's just really fun to see all of that come together and know that cinema is alive and well.
Yeah, some people laugh, some people cry. There's emotions of every range there, and you get to do it in this community like you always talk about, which then are all these great conversations come out of it, and especially a movie like this. And so people should buy tickets. Now, when can they see it?
So we're showing it Friday and Saturday at 7, and then again Sunday at 6. And I do want to give a shout out to Julie Hopkins, Keller Williams Real Estate. She's one of our fantastic underwriters here at Park City Film. She's a great patron of the arts here in our community, hails from Aspen, Colorado. So she knows what it's like to live up in a small town and just how important the arts are to bringing community members together. And so we're really fortunate to have her help us bring great films like The Fableman back to our community here in Park City. And of course, bring our families, our young people of all ages together for great conversations around film.
I love great conversations. It's one of my favorite parts about doing anything where it really makes your mind think. And any coming of age movie, I feel like, does such a good job doing that. Now, we're talking underwriters, and so we would also like to thank her for her support throughout our community. But if someone is interested in becoming an underwriter, how can they do so?
So if you go to parkcityfilm.org, you can look under the support tab, which is in the upper right-hand corner. And there's all different levels of support. You can, put advertising on the screen, you can underwrite films, you can become a member, but it details what that all looks like. And then, of course, you can reach out to me directly at director@parkcityfilm.org, and I'd be happy to talk about any specialized underwriting folks might want to do. Sometimes we have individuals. In fact, often when we showed EO, Bev and Ray Kent as just individuals in our community, patrons of the film, of independent cinema and the arts, wanted to support the film. So you don't need to have a business to support us. You can just love cinema and want to be able to bring it back to our community. So we are quite flexible and would love to have your support.
And then, of course, you guys do some other great programming. Like there was one a couple weeks back where you worked with another nonprofit in the community to really help women find their voices. And so if a nonprofit sees this, they're interested in working with you, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you as well?
Same way, director at parkcityfilm.org. We have lots of different series. We have another one coming up as part of our Raising Voices film series. We're partnering with Park City Reads to talk about literacy and people that are neurospicy like myself that have maybe ADHD or dyslexia that impedes their ability to work through the traditional educational system. We're working with Park City Museum on Crip Camp and a disability awareness. So many opportunities. I mean, there's great films out there, of course, but that extra content that our partnerships can provide. What is the conversation afterwards? What can we connect to in our community that can really inspire people and enable them to take action and go further into a topic if they so choose is really important to the mission of Park City Film. So we are always looking for partners or people that just have films that they're like, this is an amazing film that I just saw that I think would resonate with our community. We love to hear suggestions and recommendations as well, because there are only so many films that one can watch in a year, I have to admit. But we know that in our film loving community, enormously talented, just really forward-thinking folks. We'd love to hear from them as well, because the suggestions that we've had over the years have always been quite incredible.
I really love the term neurospicy. I don't think I've ever heard that, but I think that it captures so much, and it's so captivating to hear you speak on these things because you are helping people gain their voices or maybe just have that comfort of recognition within a community. And so I really love what you guys do there. Now, if people would like to buy tickets, they can go to parkcityfilm.org and they can buy them online, correct?
Yes, you can buy them online up until an hour before showtime. And then if you just have a last minute change of plans, we know that our film lovers are spontaneous folk. We are also selling tickets at the box office on site. We have a 450 seat theater, so do not be shy, do not be dissuaded or think that you might not get a seat. We have plenty of room and we'd love to have you. So just roll on up and we'd be happy to sell you a ticket there if you prefer not to do it online or just prefer to, be spontaneous and see where the night takes you.
And it's BYOB, bring your own bowl for the popcorn bar.
Absolutely. And I should say thank you for the BYOB comment, because it is not BYOB for alcohol, because we are selling alcohol this weekend. So if you're a beer or wine drinker, Friday and Saturday night, we do have that opportunity to purchase some adult beverages if you are interested, but definitely bring your own bowl for the popcorn bar, because free refills on that. And of course, lots of fun, exciting toppings that you can experiment with.
Right, that's the best part is you can start with some salty and then you can migrate to the sweet and you can just enjoy some delicious popcorn. And it's also just the best way to have a conversation with someone being like, oh, that's what you're doing with your popcorn? I should try that as well.
Exactly. There's no shame in stealing secrets from other folks about their popcorn toppings.
I think it's a great way to connect and make friends as well. And what a cool opportunity for people to have a wonderful date night over the course of this weekend. And so people can expect to see this film. It's going to be fantastic. Now, have you seen this film personally?
I have not seen it yet. I've been dying to bring it to the theater, in part because I have not. Sometimes with the bigger release films, it's hard to see them if you don't get to see them in a film festival. So this one I have not seen in depth yet, but I'm anxiously looking forward to seeing it with my own family.
Katy, well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information. And as always, thank you for the support, the love, and the connection that you bring to our community.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Make sure that you check out parkcityfilm.org. That way you can see their entire lineup of activities and events that they have coming up, because there are so many wonderful things always taking place there. And it's such a good way to get involved with this film and art appreciation community, especially if maybe you haven't dipped your toes in that sand yet. Definitely check it out. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Now, we're talking all things film this morning, and a really cool thing that we get to experience here in Park City is not only Sundance, but Slamdance. And we had so many wonderful opportunities to talk to so many great people this year. And so we're going to introduce you to the great team from Who is Annie right now. Are you looking to laugh? Well, there is a pilot episode of Who's Annie coming out at Slamdance for the 2023 screening, and it is going to have you giggling. And I'm so lucky because I'm joined by the star, Annie Pasapia, and I'm joined by Sophia Pierre, who's directed, and they've really collaborated on bringing this entire project together to make it such a wonderful production. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
So not everyone has seen the pilot. Everyone has maybe seen the trailer at this point. And so for people who don't know the story, can you guys give us a little background on it?
Sure. Well, it's premiering on the 22nd. We're very excited to finally share it with an audience. It's a 30-minute scripted comedy series that is both about and starring Annie. And the idea for the whole concept for the show happened when Annie and I met at a Burger King in Queens.
Which I think is quite funny that you guys met in a parking lot at a Burger King in Queens. And now, Annie, you have done some crazy things in this career that you have recently just started in acting.
You know, something, I have had so much fun. I only started acting, jumping in about 6 years ago. And it has been, when they say a roller coaster ride, hang on for your life. This is, and it's all fun. I wouldn't jump off, not for the world. Hang on for your life. I tell you, it's fabulous.
Now, you guys
All
have
crazy stuff.
sorry. You guys have both worked on some big projects, and so for people who may have not known or seen any of your work, can you guys both give us some examples?
Well, Annie's been in every big show that's come out in the past 6 years, often playing often playing a smaller part. She'll be like an inmate, a janitor, a nun. She's had all sorts of crazy roles, and up and coming for her are 10 new projects where she has like bigger roles. And for me, it's been mainly music videos and short films. The short films have been in mainly like art spaces, some film festivals, and I've done music videos for bigger bands like Paramore or The National and Interpol, things like that.
I just have to ask, what has been a career highlight for both of you so far?
Nothing's bigger than this.
I I have to tell you, this is huge. I mean, when someone says, "Hey, let's make a TV show about you," I don't know. Like, does it get any bigger than that? But I've done some work on some really cool projects. You know what I mean? Some network TV, some cable TV. I've worked on Manifest, New Amsterdam, uh, Nora from Queens, Aquafina, other shows too, but like that's in the most recent past. But they were exciting. It's really exciting. It really is.
And what a cool moment to have you be the muse and the inspiration behind this entire TV show. So, Sophia, as you're writing this plot, you guys both get to take these very vulnerable parts of your life and kind of expose them, not only in a humor kind of context, but in a context where people might be able to relate to them and it might help them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like it's the whole show is about Annie, right? But it's also about her path in the acting world. And then it's also about women's on-camera roles. So initially, I was going to cast somebody to play me and have that person be me in the series to make this show about a show thing happen. But as I was working with the actor Sophia Dobroshin and directing her to direct Annie, that became the funniest part of it. And the co-writer, Annie, another Annie, behind the scenes Annie Sickerman, was like, we need to pivot so that it's a show within a show within a show. Like, let's just have this whole thing. And it escalated into that, which was, it's very layered. It's like an onion.
Now,
I
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just wanted to say one thing on that. You know, Sophia came to me. We started doing this whole thing, and it made me, the fact that Sophia and then the whole team, you know, Annie, other Sophia, you know, Minot, everybody, the whole team was working so hard, made me want to work even harder, hustle even harder to get better roles, to get more, you know, so that they would be proud of me, you know what I mean? So that they'd say, okay, we have more stuff to write about. Like, I didn't just sit back and just say, okay, let them just write a show about me. It was just very encouraging to me on top of everything. It was like so encouraging that there it is.
Well, Annie, they show a lot of your life, and just even in that first episode, they go into some of the things that have happened to you in your past, and they tell your story very openly. And so what was it like to kind of go through this and share maybe those hard moments that you've experienced in your life?
Well, it started with the trust that I have in Sophia, and the comfort level that I had in discussing all this. And I feel that I was wanted to be very open and to show the world and whoever wants to see or know that it doesn't matter what you go through. You know, you can always come out the other side. You have to work at it and so on and so forth, but everything is not the end of the world. You know, you can make it through hard times, bad times, whatever it is. You can do it. You can do it. I mean, and I'm living proof of that, and that's part of my message.
Which I think is really important, and I think it's really important that people hear this, and especially maybe those younger people dreaming or those younger people going through their hardship, and not even just the younger people, but people in general, hearing that you had this dream, you started it, and you've been successful in it.
It's possible. It's possible. You know, life. You fall down. I fall down. I make mistakes all the time. My life is a big mistake, and I've cried many, many tears. But I can only cry so much till you say to yourself, "Am I going to stay down on the floor and just cry forever, and that's the end of it, or am I going to get up and give myself another chance?" People will help you, but you got to give yourself. It comes from within, and that's why when I, was talking to Sophia and we went through just so much together. It's been a few years in the making, and she probably knows more about me than basically anybody. It's fabulous. It really is.
So would you guys say that your friendship is as strong off camera as it becomes on camera as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I love to hear that. Now, Sophia, you have worked a lot on music videos, and so that means that you have a little bit more creative freedom just because you get to kind of direct and see these visions for these music videos, but this is totally your vision coming to life. So how has it felt to make that switch from those music videos to something like Who's Annie?
I mean, you can have some creative freedom with music videos more so than other projects, of course. But at the same time, at the end of the day, that product is for that band, right?
Right.
This is like completely coming from me. Like, this is every part of me. This is so many things that I've always wanted to say, so many things that I've wanted to talk about. And I mean, I couldn't be happier to finally have something out there that really represents me as a filmmaker. I guess I've made other things before, but never at this high caliber. Like, I really made sure that everything looked the way I wanted it to. Like, we weren't making compromises, even though our budget was very small. We made it happen. And I had a lot of people believe in me and believe in Annie, who made this very possible and made it exactly what I wanted it to be.
Which is so incredible, and it's so incredible to hear both of you guys talk about it and then see it come to life. And that people are going to be in love with the series because I cannot wait for the next episode already. Since I got to see the first one and I was like left ready for the next one. So what was your guys' favorite part about filming it?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I can't even answer that question without laughing. We had Sophia, take this from this, so much fun. It was a ball. We had so much fun.
Oh man, I mean, we filmed a lot in my parents' house, which was pretty surreal. Yeah, maybe one of my favorite days is the scenes, the end part of it, where Annie and I are both in my parents' bedroom in the house that I grew up in. And we made quite a mess. You'll have to see the episode to totally understand, but it was one of the messiest things. And my parents were just away for the weekend. I sent them away, and I still don't know if they know exactly what their house looked like during that. So yeah, there was a lot of laughter that day.
I get to tell you, one of my favorite scenes was with Lily,
Oh, of course.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I don't even want to, mention what it was, but we would just completely, it was really non-scripted. We were just going back and forth with it. And I had so much fun because it's like a completely out of body experience, almost just free for all. And it was hysterical. We could barely speak on camera because we were all literally holding each other up, laughing so hard. It was that funny. It really, really was.
Yeah, Annie and comedian Lily Murata are in a scene together in this pilot that is, we had an outline for what they should do, but we just kind of gave them bullet points and they just ran with it. And it was, yep, we were all dying.
Oh my God.
I love those moments. Now, if people are interested in seeing the wonderful pilot at Slamdance, where can they go? When can they see it? And how can they get tickets?
Oh, well, through the Slamdance website, you can get a ticket for the premiere, which is on the 22nd at 9:45. And then there's another screening on January 26th, which is going to be at 11:30 a.m. So you have 2 chances to see this.
Which I feel like seeing it in the morning is starting your day off so right because you're just going to start your day off by giggling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you both very much for taking the time to chat with me. Now, I have one very simple final question. If there's someone out there who aspires to do what either of you guys are doing, what piece of advice would you give them?
Don't give up. We had a lot of, in making this show, there were a lot of challenges and it took us a really long time, whether it was COVID or financial constraints, what have you. There were a lot of things that made me think like, can I do this? Can I make this happen? And I took a lot of risks and I feel better that I did than if I didn't, even if the result wasn't as good. I feel like you really need to take risks and believe in yourself. Annie, I'm sure she has very inspiring advice about.
I have one thing to say. On the tagline, and I think that I had said this in the show somewhere, grab your dreams by the throat. Just grab it. That's the truth. That's what I tell people. You got one life, live it. You got one life, go for it,
I think these are both great pieces of advice. I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with me. I feel very fortunate to have spent some time with you, giggle a little bit just from the commentary and the things that have been said here, but I highly recommend that everyone sees this pilot because I was laughing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Make sure that if you're in the area, you go check out Slamdance because it is going to be one of those things you're not going to want to miss. Who's Annie is going to premiere, and it is going to be a ton of fun, so make sure you check it out. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Thank you so much for tuning into your Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 7 a.m. I've been your host, Maddie Evans, and I love getting to spend some time with you and talk about all of the wonderful things that we have taking place in our community. I'll see you tomorrow morning for your Saturday edition.